Welcome back, everyone, to the Real Talk Podcast. I am your host, Liam Crowley, and this is episode 7, where we will bring you a Blade Runner 2049 review. We finally saw it in theaters after about 3 weeks of procrastination, but nonetheless, we are excited to be back. We have some weekend box office as usual. We have a new Bright trailer, Justice League runtime, whole bunch of news today. Joining me, as always, is Mike Gillis. Mike, what's going on?
Nothing much. I really can't wait to start talking about Blade Runner. I was really happy with the way that turned out.
Yeah, very excited to talk about this movie. We will get into that later in the show, but we're going to start, as usual, with our weekend box office update. Coming in at number 1 this weekend was Tyler Perry's Boo 2, A Madea Halloween, making $21.2 million. Coming in at number 2, Geostorm, making $13.7 million.
Good.
Coming in at number 3, Happy Death Day, making $9.36 million. Coming in at number 4, Tears, but Blade Runner 2049, making $7.35 million. And rounding out the top 5, Only the Brave, a new release, coming in at $6.02 million. Mike, any just general thoughts on the box office?
I'm not surprised that what's on top is what's on top right now.
Yeah.
That is Madea movies, I guess, are popular with their fan base. I don't know if Madea has a fan base, but
they same turnout usually for all of these movies.
Geostorm is bad.
Yeah, Geostorm production budget of $120 million, making $13.7 opening weekend. That's awful. No one should see this movie. This movie looks like it belongs on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah. It looks like a movie that I would... It looks like it would fill space on Netflix. It's just a generic disaster movie.
They had to make the trailers comedy
because
it looked so boring. I remember the first trailer I saw, I'm like, oh, this looks boring. I saw why is it funny now?
I saw the first trailer back in May, I remember, and it was very... serious and oh man, we have a storm that's taking over the whole world. Geostorm. And then they turned it to some comedy because they were like, you know what, people don't care about this movie. There were some interesting shots in the trailers, but overall this is not a movie you should see. No. It's a generic action disaster movie just trying to get an audience because there's cool CGI set pieces. One thing that stands out for sure, it seems like we're doing this every week, but Blade Runner 2049 decreasing again, dropping 52%.
We were part of that, though. We helped.
We were
$7
each to this $7.35 million. $7 actually a surprise when we went to see it. Pretty cheap for a movie ticket these days.
I mean, it was a matinee. So.
Yeah, Sunday matinee, not too expensive. But Blade Runner, it's sad. When we went to see it. We're not going to review it now, obviously, but we're just going to get into our experience at the theater. It was very empty. Very empty.
There was like 2 other people and then us, and then halfway through the movie, an older couple walks in, and like halfway before the movie's ended, they walk out.
So they stayed for about an hour, and I don't know if that says anything about the movie, but it kind of says what people's attention span is with it, that they don't even care to show up on time
and stay for the rest of the movie.
Other thoughts about weekend box office, I noticed It actually first week it's out of the top 5. That's a good point. Coming in at number 8, missing the top 10 completely, is The Snowman.
No.
I don't know. I haven't seen this movie, and I will not see this movie, but I've heard ridiculous things about it. I've heard it's the worst movie of the year.
The editing wasn't even finished.
Really?
They didn't even finish the editing. That's what I heard.
You know. I thought this movie had potential. I thought it was a very eerie serial killer movie with like the victims having like a snowman head on them.
Yeah, it's like Zodiac in the snow.
Yeah, and so with Michael Fassbender attached, you would think it would do good, but you know, this movie, is Michael Fassbender still A-list?
I don't think anymore.
Because
he failed 2 movies
with
recently.
Assassin's Creed back in December, and then this with The Snowman. I don't know if that's speaking to the quality of the film, because both were bad movies. It's not like he made a good movie and it flopped at the box office like a Blade Runner. But I don't know. Does Michael Fassbender need to be in an ensemble like X-Men in order to make money? It's interesting going forward to see what kind of projects he'll be attached to, if this is going to be a repeat occurrence with him and the movie's box office. Another thought I had, Happy Death Day, dropping 64%, which seems like a ton, but it still makes close to $10 million.
It made its budget back in.
And its budget, $4.8 million. It's made $54 million worldwide. That's amazing for this movie. I don't know much about it, but I will say, I know, Mike, you did say the premise is basically Groundhog Day, but it takes a new spin on it.
That's fair enough.
it's decently original in their
it's gotten
presentation.
some nice reviews, actually. So.
Yeah, so you know what?
I'm not gonna.
We need more films like this in the top 5 rather than freaking Geostorm coming in at number 2 when it's just all about the action. Essentially,
such a weird time for a movie like Geostorm to come out too. Like in October, that's more like it's more horror, not like action.
Yeah. So that's basically going to round out our weekend box office update. Any final thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just same thing with me. Nothing really surprising here. Just Blade Runner continues to drop.
It's gonna drop. The two really low next week.
The 2 new movies didn't even do that much at the top 2. And yeah, that's basically it for weekend box office. So for our first topic for news, we have a new trailer for the Netflix original movie Bright. And we haven't seen this trailer. We're going to watch it right now and give our immediate thoughts on it. So here is the Bright trailer. It's the official trailer number 2.
Are you ready? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Windows up. Drive it like you stole it. Put on the gas in the motor.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, nice slow-mo.
With some sort of force field, yeah.
David Ayer?
Yeah, he directs this.
Officer Ward, what happened? I got a dude in my car, and the whole world is watching. Our nation's first Orcish police officer. I can't fuck up my pension. Hey, don't get me stabbed. Rivalries always gotta be the bad guys.
Dude, what?
So that night,
Migos? Is this Migos in the background? Big fan of that.
No holes? Only the ones I was born with.
Huh.
Or your holes. The fuck can you make a shootout awkward? It's a magic wand. It's like a nuclear weapon that grants wishes. And it just went really sideways from that point. If only some magic strong and kill. Just to let a little trouble knock me out of my position. The devil is coming. We have to protect the wand. So I need to know that you got my back. You in cops first or an orc first? It's time to end this. Fuck it. I want to die. Let's do it. We're going to titty bar gunfight die. Butterfingers, we were doing so good. Someone take me. Are we friends? I think we should spend our time just trying to survive this shit. If we do this, we'll be heroes forever.
Alright, final shot.
I need you to take your fat Shrek-looking ass and the fuck home to Fiona. Alright?
Love to see it. Shrek references? Yeah.
Alright, that'll do it for the Bright trailer. I'm just going to read the synopsis real quick for those of you unfamiliar with it. So it goes like this. In an alternate present day, humans, orcs, elves, and fairies have been coexisting since the beginning of time. 2 police officers, one a human, the other an orc, embark on a routine night patrol that will alter the future of their world as they know it. Battling both their own personal differences as well as an onslaught of enemies, they must work together to protect a young female elf and a thought-to-be-forgotten relic, which, in the wrong hands, could destroy everything. Now, this movie, I believe, besides the fact that it's an original movie, which is amazing, it is very important because this could represent the transition from the movie theater to just online streaming, because this is a Netflix exclusive. You would think with a cast like Will Smith, Joel Edgerton, directed by David Ayer, you would think this is a movie coming out in theaters. It also has a budget of $90 million.
Jeez.
And so this is the first blockbuster movie coming from Netflix. And yes, they have a lot of original properties. We see with Stranger Things, 13 Reasons Why, other original movies, original documentaries, stuff like that. But this is their first real blockbuster movie that they're putting on Netflix, which is great for subscribers like me and Mike, because we don't have to pay extra to see a huge movie. This is a movie in theaters. Probably pay $15 for a ticket when you're only paying about $10 per month for Netflix. So when I say this movie is very important, if successful, if given enough views, it could really start the transition for more original properties. Because there's also a bit of news coming out lately that Netflix is spending over the course of 2018 $8 billion with a B dollars on original properties. So if this movie is a success, we could see a lot more big budget movies come like this. You never know. Maybe the next superhero movie will end up a Netflix exclusive. They already have the Marvel TV properties. So that's basically my thoughts on what this movie represents. We're going to get back into the trailer and what it actually shows. My first thoughts, I'll give it to Mike in a second, but I'm very intrigued by this movie because it's taking modern world but giving it the history of stuff from like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not very familiar with this, but like it's like Dungeons and Dragons stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean stuff like that, sure.
Yeah, and so it's giving this idea where different races, we're not talking about blacks and whites and Asians and stuff like that. We're talking about orcs, humans, elves. It's very interesting because now, we see at the end there's like a gang of orcs. Is that what they are?
Those are orcs.
And so they must have their own reputation while humans are given another one.
Yeah, they did, but one of the quotes was like, "This is the first orcish police officer."
Yeah, and so like that's a real change in their society, I guess, and so maybe orcs are always cast out. And what also gets me excited is this is written by Max Landis. Many of you might not know him, but he also wrote a smaller budget film, but critical success, Chronicle. He was also a part of, I'm forgetting the name of it, but there was another movie he was a part of. Anyways, he's a great writer, and I remember watching some interview he was in, and he has pages upon pages of history written for this movie that's not even explained. So this could open up a whole new world. We could see Bright, a sequel to it. We could see some like prequels. We could see a whole bunch from this. So this movie gets me very excited. So Mike, what are your thoughts?
I was actually surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be like that sounds mean to Netflix, but like they have to prove their worth before they can start doing stuff like this.
Sure.
It looks pretty good, honestly. I like it's original. It's interesting. I like it's kind of like a Zootopia vibe.
Yeah, no, I get that
with
for
the
sure.
different sections of like it's like Elf Street over here, and stuff like that. So that's cool. The chemistry looks great between Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. Yeah, that looks good. And you were talking about the theater experience going away. I would honestly hate to see that go. I love the theater experience, and I'm sure the comfort of being able to watch movies at home on Netflix is great and all, but to lose like going to see the big screen with the big audio, not everyone has good audio, and I think the movie theater is probably always going to be the best way to see a movie. I think prices will go down, definitely. If Netflix starts pumping out movies on like big giant movies online, people are going to not go to the movie theaters. Movie theaters are going to have to lower their ticket prices.
I agree. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I love the movie theater experience. I love going to the movies to see anything, really, because it's a great experience to go there.
My favorite things to do.
Honestly, when a new blockbuster comes out and it's like the first day of release, I remember when I went to see Back to the Future Part 2 on October 21st, 2015. And people, obviously it's not a new release, but people were clapping when the date came on the screen. Another movie, Avengers: Age of Ultron, people were clapping after, what scene was it? Oh, when Vision lifts the hammer. It's a very cool atmosphere because you're not like, it's not like a sports game where you're interacting with the people there, but you all are there for a reason.
Yeah, I saw Batman vs Superman. The day it came out, and there was no clapping. There was no clapping.
Yeah, but it's a great experience to go to the movies, and I'm not saying that I dislike. I'm opposed to the idea of Netflix doing this. I'm actually very intrigued because it gives people an alternative, and competition anything is good because it creates both the movie theaters and Netflix will have to adjust based on what the other is doing.
And I'm wondering, would Netflix release stuff on like discs and stuff?
Because they've done it with like Stranger Things and stuff. So they would eventually release Bright on Blu-ray and DVD, I believe. But it's
I love collecting Blu-rays. That's why.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very interesting time we're living in because